So we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah by way of His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. So let His name be praised and esteemed and honored. And let's go to John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that come from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, of whom you trust. But had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? Proverbs chapter 12. We'll pick it up at verse 27. I'll get the tail end of verse 26 in a minute. Uh-huh. Proverbs 12 and 27. It said, the slothful man roasts not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. And the way of righteousness is life, and in the pathway thereof there is no death. So with that being said, looking at that verse 27, what would y'all believe that verse is looking to convey? The slothful man roasts not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. What do y'all think that's trying to convey? Slothful man roasts not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. All right, let's deal with the first half first. The slothful man roasts not that which he took in hunting. He didn't work? Indeed. I want y'all to look at the word that they have for roast. It is karah. It means to roast, but it also means to set in motion or to start. So when you look at it, that slothful man does not even begin to start. The characters for that word is kat, rosh, and ka. And you may begin. Kat, rosh, and ka. That word means to set in motion, to start, and to roast. So when you look at it, what it says the slothful man does not start, or he does not start roasting, or as he mentioned, he doesn't start working. He doesn't set anything in motion. By reason why he's a sluggard, clearly. Kat, rosh, and kaf is what you got. Kat, rosh, and kaf. What y'all got? Shalom, man. What y'all got for that? Kat. Yes, ma'am. Kat. We have the kat, we have the rosh, and we have the kaf. That word means to roast, to set in motion, or to start. So the sluggard does not set in motion or start his labor. So therefore, he will not be able to, notice it says that which he took not in hunting. Separate you to be subdued? Very well, sir. Very well. Anyone else? He doesn't grab hold. Indeed, because he's not willing to do the work. Or you sit back and look at that he refuses to be subdued. Now, when we look at this here about someone who doesn't do that, let's take a look at Matthew chapter 25 for one of the strongest examples of said statement. Because if you're not roasting that which you took in hunting, then what are you doing? And what I mentioned last night, right? You have to have a sense of urgency. You don't have to be, like when you're rushed, that means you're not prepared. When someone is rushing you, it's because you're not moving at a pace because of your lack of preparation. So you can never be rushed when you're prepared. You're only rushed because you're unprepared or you were being slothful. But when you have a sense of urgency, you are prepared and you move with purpose. That means you're not moving at breakneck speed because, I got to hurry up and get this done. You're moving this because you know that time is of the essence. I don't have time to waste. You know what I'm saying? There is a difference. Just like you said, and I did this a difference because I heard a dude say this last night. Who knows the difference between good debt and bad debt? Because there is a difference. Good debt and bad debt. Because there is a difference. Are any of y'all familiar that there is a such thing as good debt? Y'all, anybody know the difference between good debt and bad debt? What'd you say? No, I mean, Kira just put it plainly. The debt is like you working off to pay something that does not give you any return. Bad debt is debt that comes from non-income producing assets. You know what I'm saying? That is bad debt. Student loans are bad debts. Car payments are bad debts. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the house you purchase, that's a bad debt because you're not getting any money from it. You know what I'm saying? Good debt is people, like I told you, the dude that I know that owned 1,000 houses, and he was like, yeah, man, I got $40 million worth of debt. So what? Because it's good debt. Because that debt produces income. See, credit card debt is bad debt. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not making any money from that. Money's going out, but nothing is coming from the debt. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with getting debt, but the debt needs to be producing some manner of income for you. If not, it's bad debt. Good debt is usually anything that you can purchase that would produce income for you if you took out that loan. Now, let's say you took out a loan for a vehicle, but you use that vehicle for the means to produce income. That wouldn't be bad debt because that loan or that debt is actually making money for you. You know what I'm saying? When you have debt and all you're doing is paying down the debt, but whatever you're in debt for is not generating income on your behalf, that's bad debt. Good debt is anything that produces income. You know what I'm saying? And shoot. And I mean, and it's mainly the things that are bad debt are the things that they really push on the common regular American. You know what I'm saying? They don't really tell us about what good debt is. That's why you hear so many. You'll see white dudes and like I was listening to a white dude say he was taking out lines of credit on his credit card to buy houses to flip. So even though he was in debt, that was good debt because that was money that he was using to make him money. And we're usually not told that. Then that's only because most of our parents are not entrepreneurs. So why would they know that? You know what I'm saying? You're only going to know what you're exposed to. If you're not exposed to that, then you're not going to know that. And I say that because you shouldn't hold that against anyone who brought you up if they were devoid of that information, if no one taught it to them. You know what I'm saying? That's why I mentioned this. That's why you have to take the time to broaden your horizons and your perspectives past the people you're around and the environments you were brought up in. Or if not, you'll always stay in that mindset, even if you no longer live in that environment. Like some people look at their student loan and say it's not bad debt because they say they're going to monetize it later. Depends how much debt you take out. Because if you have any debt that can hamstring your future endeavors, that's not good debt. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, everything's about perspective, but definitely there's a difference between good and bad debt. And if you're going to go in debt, at least let that debt make you some money. You know what I'm saying? Just don't get debt for the sake of getting debt, because then you're going to be fighting your whole adult life to get rid of it. That's why they push it. And the reason why I mention that because I was listening to going along. Kira say, you know, exactly. Go on the line that you got to spend money to make money, and most wealthy people will tell you to never use your own money, to use someone else's. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't mention that because I heard, you know, Vlad was on his show and he was stating that he felt like that for reparations, all black people should get a free college education. And, you know, some people went off on about that. I don't know how you feel about it. I wouldn't want a free college education. You just give me the money. I'll do what I do with it. But some people might want that. Because you know what really holds a lot of people up when they get out of college is that they have to go into certain fields outside of where they would desire to be to pay off that loan. Some people might go in a particular field where they got their degree and come back to neighborhoods like this and do certain things because they don't have to worry about paying off no debt. You got to worry about paying debt. You're going to go work somewhere where you can make a lot of money, pay that debt off. You know, America's one of the few countries in the industrial world that charges the astronomical amounts of money to go to college. Because overseas, they don't really pay that much money to go to college, depending on the country. I remember I was in prison. They had an uprising in London because they were trying to force them to pay for college because they were going to college for free. Didn't cost any money to go to college over there. You know what I'm saying? Which makes absolutely no sense. Now, Vlad's point is that you'll make an X amount of more money long term with a college degree than without one. You know what I'm saying? But most black people felt like, you know, I want my money. Now, of course, we all know we'll never get reparations. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to get it. So ain't even no sense of stopping or getting mad about it. Yahuwah going to give you reparations. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get it from them. Just imagine if they did give us, and you know, 40 acres of land is a nice pretty penny in these days and times. Now imagine if they gave every black person 40 acres. Where they going to give it to you at? Because see, they can't do for you like they did with the Indians and give you something so you could build a casino, because you know what you niggas going to do. You're going to build a house of ill repute. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to serve Yahuwah with it. And you can keep the mule because cattle ain't worth nothing now. You know what I'm talking about? But imagine if you had 40 acres, what you would do with it. I would say probably 60% of black folks would sell it. Matthew 25 and 1. This is a direct example of what's in Proverbs 12. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were wise, 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom come, go you out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered and saying, Not so, lest there not be enough for us and you. But go you rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterwards came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Truly I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes. So that also goes at those 5 women. Let it be known that our substance is precious. You didn't value it as being precious, and that's why you were slothful, and you didn't set in motion what you ought to do. See, a lot of the times, what a lot of people, like before when y'all were younger, how many of y'all felt like, I got time to get right with the Lord? Or I got time to do this, or I got time to do that. And you don't. I just seen a chick I know in the real estate sector. I had read the story the other day. Baby just got shot. Nigga shot her right over here on Kings Road. Say somebody pulled up. She's standing out there with a dude at 10:15 at night and got clipped. Then she said the crazy part was, she said she got shot 4 years before that while she was pregnant. And she said she beat an attempted murder charge. I said, well, good Lord, baby, you need to stay in the house. You know what I'm saying? And just sell houses. That's all you need to do. You don't need to come out the door no more. But it just go to show. You don't have time. You don't have the time that you think you have. And you take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? Now we'll look at something in Proverbs 27 and 1, because y'all know it's in James, but we'll just read it out of Proverbs. And I'm only stating that because the difference between the diligent and the slothful, which goes back to what we were talking about last night. I forget the verse, just that fast. About how the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, or the righteous seeks after Yahuwah more than his neighbor. That's what makes them diligent. So you have to seek after Yahuwah with every ounce of your being while you're still here. And after we read this here, I think it's Isaiah 38. But if it's not, I'll find the spot. He said, boast not yourself of tomorrow, for you know not what a day may bring forth. You just don't know what the next day gonna bring. You assume, you know what you end up having in your mind? I'm gonna get up and go to work tomorrow, then I'm gonna go to the grocery store. But are you sure you're gonna get up and go to work tomorrow and go to the grocery store? You just don't know. See, you get complacent, because guess what? Somebody got up this morning, got in a car accident. Don't necessarily mean they died. Could have broke their legs. Could have been paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to happen. That's why I always say, Yahuwah willing, because you don't know. You're not guaranteed to be on this earth for a certain amount of time. You know how people tell you, oh, you got plenty of time. You got a long life ahead of you. Says who? That's why I mentioned about having a sense of urgency, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So you can't move like tomorrow is going to come, because you don't know if it's going to come. See, and quite naturally, on average, you usually get old and you die. But everybody, that's not everybody's end. Everybody don't get old and die. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't necessarily talking about because they were running around in the street. You know what I'm saying? I had peers who died from diseases while we were in our 20s. You know what I'm saying? Niggas dying from cancer. Jits. It was a dude we went to school with. He had a bad, I don't know what his health condition was, but he definitely died when he was 19. Shippy definitely died when he was 20, 21. He had a health condition. You know what I'm saying? Died in prison. Come over here to, it was just in my mind. No, I'm going to go to Matthew 5 first. When you look at how Yahusha moved, and we'll read the verse now, right? Matter of fact, I'll tell you, remember what he said? He said, you know what? I got to work while it's still day. Because when the night comes, no man can work. If you pay attention to how the Lord moved, he moved with a sense of urgency. Because I know I only have a short time with you. That's why he told you, he said, the poor is always with you, but I'm not always going to be here with you. Because now, granted, he knew how long he was going to be here and what he was there for and what he was coming to do. So he moved with urgency. You don't know how long you're going to be here. So you can't play around like, oh, I'll make sure I get the Ruach after I take care of this and take care of that. No, you're going to go to hell, because that's your arrogancy and pride that making you say that. You will arrogantly look at Yahuwah and say, oh, I know I'll live another 20 years, so I got time. You're not going, no, you can't do that. It's Matthew 6, excuse me. Absolutely, the book tell you that. He say he walk about, and we'll read the verse after that, because he say he know he ain't got but a little time. Oh man, Trina says she just had a close family friend pass away a few weeks ago. Talked to him a couple hours before he passed. He died in his car at the store. I was waiting for him to let me know he got home safely, and he never made it. And that's natural causes. Nobody shot him. No car accident. Just out of here. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. And a lot of times you leave. Now, there's two things that can happen. One, in Isaiah 57:1, he say, merciful men are taken away, so they won't see the evil to come. So, and we'll read the verse in a second. Sometimes he take righteous men away, so they don't have to see what's coming. See, you don't even look at that as a blessing. See, I can remember when we were first in the word, man, me and Fat, we used to sit around, I used to tell them like, bro, this stuff that's finna go down, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I want to see women have their children whipped out of their wombs? Because that type of stuff is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Why would I want to see men get their whole potato exploded? And ain't nothing I can do about it. Because these niggas going to talk all that tough guy stuff, but ain't nothing you're going to be able to do about it. The beast's going to overcome everybody. Why? Because it's written. Not because of fear, not because of cooning and all that other stuff that these cornball niggas like to spit. When somebody don't want to come with that fake junk they talking about, you gonna die, my nigga, because that's what he said. That man say he is going to overcome all the saints. That's what's written in the book of Daniel. He said in the Revelation that this man is going to take over the whole world, and he's going to kill so many people that something like that had never been done from the foundation of the world. Now, what I'm going to do with that? That's what's going to happen. So Tavon said he had a cousin sister, and they died back to back on the job. Just dropped dead. Just like that, bomb. You know, sometimes, right, and I'm just taking this from the text. I think it was Herod in the book of Acts. He was out there running his mouth. I'll read it for you, because he killed that nigga on the spot. Like, you could just picture who all, he said, man, kill that nigga. I'm tired of dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know that's how serious it is. He just said, kill him. I'm tired of dealing with it. No, they put that in that movies, right? The Grim Reaper, the Angel of Death. You ever seen movies like that? That nigga pop up, I'm taking you with me. See? Yeah, they know what time it is. Ain't no Grim Reaper. It's an Angel of Death, though. And he's sending. Get him out of here. I'm tired of dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? He done disrespected me one time too many. He done ran his mouth against me one time too many. And then you got some wicked people, he prolonged their days and keep them here. So you don't know. We'll read that verse too. Matthew 6:31. It says, therefore take no thought for your life, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or whereof shall we be clothed? Now I'm mentioning that this here, right? Because let's just be honest. You're flesh and blood. Just like we read about last night. He know our frame. We're but dust. Of course, naturally, if you are not financially secure, you're going to worry about what you're going to eat. You're going to worry about what you're going to wear. And you're going to worry about where you're going to live. Because you're flesh and blood. You're dust of the ground. But you have to be able to transform that thought process over to having a mind where you trust Yahuwah, to where you're not concerned with that. Because what did we just mention last night? He says a father pities his children, or loves deeply and has mercy and compassion on his children, so does Yahuwah have pity on those who fear him. So if you know, and I want you to translate that self to your own self, you know how deeply you love your own children, I would hope. You know what I'm saying? So if you know you love your children deeply, and you're going to make sure they're clothed and they're fed and they're going to have a roof on their head, over their head, why would you think that Yahuwah would do anything different for you? Now, it may not be the food you want to eat. It may not be the place you want to stay. It may not be clothes you want to wear, but nevertheless, you have them. This is why Paul say, having food, clothing, and raiment, let us be content. Well, not that, but we'll read that verse right now, because I said it wrong. 1 Timothy chapter 6. First Timothy chapter 6, we start at verse 3. He said, if any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, wherefore come envy, strife, railings, and evil surmisings. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such, withdraw yourself. So if they're destitute of the truth, what are they destitute of? Spirit, and you can say that because it said the Ruach is truth. They're destitute of faith. Always remember, when we see truth, let's not look at truth in the relative sense as the English language, which means to be correct, but look at it as forth as the Amunah, the Aman, or the Amah, the reliability, the firmness, and the faithfulness of Yahuwah. They're destitute of that. He say, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. Now, some of y'all were present, I would hope. Especially the women, you were definitely there when you had them children. And I guarantee you, they came out your uterus with absolutely nothing. They ain't carry nothing out of there with them, but they bear behind. Now, you put people in a casket and people put stuff in there with them, don't they? But at the end of the day, they didn't carry that out with them. You came here with nothing and you leaving here with nothing. This is why he tell you to take heed of covetousness, because a man's life does not consist in the abundance of things that he possesses. This is how the cares and affairs of this life and the deceitfulness of riches, that's how I choke off the word, you'll bring forth no fruit, because you worry about the wrong thing. And then you don't come after Yahuwah with that sense of urgency. Nevertheless, He say, having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. So if you got food and clothes, you should be straight. You ain't got nothing else to be concerned about, because at the end of the day, what else, how much more after that do you need? You don't. There's a difference between wants and needs. You may want a lot of things, but you don't need those things. You know what I'm saying? And especially coming up in this society where they tell you, especially now, taking pictures of black folks holding up passports and you need to do this and buy that and all that, and it gets you distorted on what's really important. That stuff is not important. If you didn't travel outside of your city, but you got in Yah's kingdom, would you say your life was worth it? If you had a legacy of raising upright, Yah-fearing children, then your life was worth it. You can't really compare this stuff to what the Gentiles doing, because that type of stuff is what the Gentiles see, which we're about to read back in Matthew chapter 6. Don't mean you can't do it, but it's a distraction to stop you from seeking after Yahuwah first. So you have to seek after him first, then all that stuff will be added on to you. They make you believe that you can do these things simultaneously. And you can't serve two masters, because you're going to love one and hate the other. You can't do two things at one time and expect one to get your complete devotion. That's why I used to always trip out. And it always would be women that ask that question. Can you love two people at one time? I'm like, oh, you're a whore. You're a whore. No, because you're going to love one and hate the other. You can't love two people. A woman ain't made to love more than one man. It's not her makeup. And of course, you can see that in the text, but most of the time, there was a lot of strife that came along with that. But nevertheless, 6:32, Matthew. He say, after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your father in Shamahim know that you have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow, for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. He said you don't need to be worried about tomorrow. Now, of course, that don't mean you don't plan. You know what I'm saying? But tomorrow gonna take care of itself, because the day you in is evil enough. But nevertheless, it was a verse I was gonna grab, and I don't forgot just that fast. Oh yeah, let's get this Isaiah 38. But it was something else too. Isaiah 38:16. O Lord, by these things men live, and in all these things is the life of my Ruach. So will you recover me and make me to live? Behold, for Shalom I had great bitterness. For you have in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption. You have cast all my sins behind your back, which of course y'all should be able to tell. This is definitely dealing with Yahushua's death and resurrection and what he did for us, because he definitely cast all your sins behind his back. And he caused you to be able to recover and live because you were in a sick state. He told you in the book of Jeremiah, you ain't have no mollifying ointments and nothing to heal you. See, sometimes it get real easy to forget the fact. See, y'all are really young, so y'all don't really have a long track record of living recklessly. You know what I'm saying? Most of y'all, when you picked up the word, you were pretty young. You might have still been doing things you ain't had no business, but you ain't get a good 10, 15, 20 years of being evil under your belt. You know what I'm saying? Where you can look back and be like, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get that long of a run. Most of y'all got a good 5-6 year run of being sinful, because your youth don't really count, because that's when you were under the stewardship of your parents. It's when you came to your adolescence when you begin to formulate plots and plans and schemes on your own. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't get that long of a run. When you have a longer run of being evil, you begin to appreciate what he brought you from, and that you could have stayed that way and being healed, and therefore you might be a tad bit more diligent than somebody who ain't had that experience. Or if you ain't seen a lot of negative things. You know what I'm saying? I got too many peers that matter of fact, almost everybody I grew up with has been to prison. You know what I'm saying? Which is a sad thing to say. I would probably say a good 70 to 75% of my childhood peers have been to prison. Not the county jail, but to prison. at some point in time in their lifetime. And most of them have been incarcerated at some point in time in their lifetime for something. You know what I'm saying? So you sit back and you look at the things you participated in, the things you were involved in, the things that you were delivered from. You know what I'm saying? To allow you to get to the point to hear his word and this, that, and the third, you move different. You know, when you're young and you immature, you think you got so much time, so you ain't really get delivered from too much. Because you weren't involved in too much. Most of y'all wasn't doing nothing but a little fornicating, smoking a little weed. You ain't know nothing about no Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all might have been evil. Some of you might have had just evil hearts all the way around the board. You may have not exercised a lot of evil actions, but your hearts were black. You know what I'm saying? And that junk that take a toll on you. How many of y'all felt like your hearts were really black when you were young, before the word came? I ain't talking about this here like really black. Black hearts are just a very, very evil person. You know what I'm saying? Think evil, desire evil. You know what I'm saying? Somebody do something to you, you wish evil on them immediately. Yeah, just a black heart, just a very evil person. It's a lot of people who you think are nice people who are probably the most evil people you have ever encountered in your life. They just act like they're nice. You know what I'm saying? But they're not nice. If they had a chance, they'd rip your heart out your chest and hand it to you for the smallest of reasons. I've been around some very evil people in my time, and not in the streets either. Just evil people, and it was almost neck and neck because some of the most evil people I ever encountered were women. You know what I'm saying? See, men are evil, but it say that in the Apocrypha. You know about that verse in the Apocrypha? He say there's nothing that compares to the wickedness of a woman. And I know men are very, very wicked, but no. Ain't nothing like the evil of a woman. A woman is a special type of evil. Because y'all deal more with maliciousness and spitefulness than men do. And why do you think they have that term? What's that term? Hell have no fury like a woman scorned and things of that nature. When a woman is evil, she just plans evil a whole lot different. Men just kill and go. Seriously though, they just kill and go. They don't really plot out plans to make somebody's life miserable. Some niggas do. Some niggas are also that special type of evil. But also, I think historically, I think it's more men that are sociopaths. But I think it's a lot of women who are sociopaths too. They just don't kill. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's just the emotional nature of a woman. Word. He said, Tavon said he felt like about the world and people going through the foster care experience. Foster care will definitely introduce you to some very evil people. Because most of the people who want to be foster parents are very evil people and get people children and do ungodly things to them. Just on the house, like you volunteered to do this. Like, why would you volunteer to torment somebody else's child? But nevertheless. Now y'all do know what they say was the first sign of a sociopath or a psychopath. Y'all know what the first sign is. Killing animals. You know what I'm saying? That's a nigga who want to taste blood. That's weirdo stuff right there, though. Want to see something die. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal. Now, I will say when we were younger, we did something. We were like 11, 12. Nigga like, yeah, boy, put bread in Alka-Seltzer and watch the birds eat it. They're going to explode. I'm like, boy, that nigga, that wild. They did explode, too. That jump, expand their belly. You know what I'm talking about? I think that was just more so that nigga was just wild. I think somebody told him about it. He did it. That nigga was like, nigga, they explode in the air. But, it is what it is, man. Verse 18. He say, for the grave cannot praise you, and death cannot celebrate you. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for your truth. The living, he shall praise you as I do this day. Listen what he tell you. The father to the children shall make known your truth. Now look what he said gonna happen. Who he say he gonna make known the truth? The father to the son. Let's take a look at some of those verses. Yes, sir. Isaiah 38, and that was verse 19. That was 19, the last verse that I read. We started at verse 16. Oh yeah, by the way, a couple of the ladies here said they wanted to have a conversation after we get finished. So when we get finished, just let that be known. But that's coming. That's y'all stuff though. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm just a moderator. I just had to mention that because I forgot, and then I just remembered. So I said it right now. Hey. Now the word for truth here is a mock. If you remember, you have your aleph, your meme, and your tau. And remember, that's faithfulness, reliableness, truth as spoken of, testimony of judgment, divine instruction, firmness. So what are we supposed to do when you sit back, you the living makes known the firmness and reliability of Yahuwah to his son. But I also want to look at the word for celebrate. See if it's the same. And it's halal. Y'all know that word. It's to shine or to boast, to praise. So again, when you sit back, when you alive, how many dead people you ever seen praise and celebrate Yahuwah? They can't do it. You know why they can't do it? Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to go to. Praise the Lamb. Praise Yahuwah. We'll read verse 1. Ecclesiastes 9 and 1. And then, as a matter of fact, swing to Ecclesiastes 8, because that's what I want first. Ecclesiastes 8 and 6. We'll make it verse 5. We'll make it verse 4. Ecclesiastes 8 and 4. And Ecclesiastes 8 and 4 is something that we've looked at in the past. It's been a long time. He said, where the word of the king is, there is power. And who may say unto him, what do you? Now look what he said, where the word of the king is, there is power. Shoot, y'all might even get that. That's That's all it took. That's all he wanted. You could tell by them whales. He wasn't going to stop till somebody picked him up. Now, what y'all think that means, if y'all can recall when we looked at that where the word of the king is, there's power. What is the power over? What does the power bring? Now, you already know that we're dealing with the fruit that Yahushua is the word of Elohim. So where the word of the king is, there's power. And what do you have power over? What, over sin, over death. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you have to have the word in you. That goes back to what we were talking about last night about hearing the word and retaining it in your heart. That goes back to what we looked at during Tabernacle in regards that he'll cleanse your heart and put his word in it. Because there's power with his word. Where there's no word, there is no power. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of dudes, they want to see power these days. They want to see miracles. That's what a lot of people want to see. They want to see a miracle. Really, because they faithless individuals. But we looking for that power that's over death. Matter of fact, do I want to use that? Hold this Ecclesiastes. And this is all still dealing with the same thing. This is why the righteous seeks more than his neighbor. And I ain't deal with the other part about, but the seducing. That's why I say in the pathway of life, there's no death. Whatever that word is, you can't die. If the word is not present, then you'll die. That's why you have to move with that level of urgency, because Yahushua kept telling him, I got work to do. I got work to do. It's no different than when Nehemiah say, I'm up here doing a great work. I'm not coming down to you. So you get distracted. You know what I'm saying? You get distracted. And you get distracted from people who are going to hell. You know you let sinners distract you from what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? And you have to tell them, you know what? I have no time for you. Which is why I mentioned that beforehand. What profit or benefit do you get from talking to a nigga about absolutely nothing? You know what I'm saying? A nigga's not talking about nothing. We ain't even got to be in the word. Put the word to the side. A nigga hit your phone and ask for your presence to do or talk about nothing. You are at an age where talking and doing nothing should no longer appeal to you. This does not benefit or profit or elevate me in my life whatsoever. It's a waste of words and it's a waste of time. Exactly. That's what Isha says. A waste of words and it's a waste of time. See, that talk was cool sitting around talking about nothing. You was 14, 18, 20, 21. Now you niggas grown with whole families and you wasting your time entertaining niggas who ain't got nothing going on. Word aside, ain't got nothing going on in life. So why am I entertaining you? Why do I find this conversation insightful to the point that I will invest minutes, hours, days, and months conversating with you? You know why? Because you're worried about what they're going to say when you don't want to talk to them no more. Well, it's not that I have a problem with you, sir, or ma'am. I just have no desire or care about anything that you're discussing at this point in time. What are you saying to me that's going to benefit my life? Nigga, I got whole cheering in the back. You don't hear them niggas? They're asking me for vittles. I got to fill their mind up with something. But I can't fill they mind up with something because I'm filling my mind up with stupidity and ignorance and nothingness because I'm talking to you. That's why I say put the word to the side. You're adults now. So the purpose of life is to continually grow and elevate. You cannot grow and elevate investing quality time in people and places and things that you don't need to invest them in. And if a nigga can't understand that, then that nigga don't really fool with you. Because we all know this here. You grow apart from people. Usually because people go in different directions. Some people stay still. Some people grow and they going in this way and then you just happen to be going that way and it ain't no pressure. I'm just going on my path. You going on yours. It's still love on this side, but I'm over here doing my thing. I'll holler at you when I holler at you. See, if a nigga get offended because they can't talk to you every day, they can't see you all the time, nigga, we grown. I'm not 15 years old no more, nigga. I don't have that type of free time. Somebody's asking me to change their diaper. You know how they're asking me? Because I can smell it. But you want me to invest time in you. And then when you invest all your time into nothing or people who ain't doing nothing, then that takes away from the time that you could have been using to develop yourself. And that's how you end up behind the 8 ball. Hey, if a nigga want to be left behind, you got to leave him behind. You know what I'm saying? That's what he was telling Lot then when they were leaving outside of don't look back. You got to leave the people behind. It is what it is. You got to leave them behind. If people want to stay still, you have to leave them behind. If you don't want to get left behind, then I guess you better put on your running shoes or get on a bicycle and start getting up behind them and catch up. Thank you for telling me, ESPN, because I didn't really care. Verse 5, he said, whoso keep the commandments shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discern both time and judgment. But because to every purpose there is time and judgment, therefore the misery of man is great at misery. Now, of course, y'all know that goes to the Lord as well. Both verses that I just read. Let's look at the misery of man. And that's evil. It's the word ra. It says great. Because you don't know when the time of judgment is going to come. Of course, kafat is for purpose is kafat, which is to delight. But let's look at the word for discern and let's see what we got. Our wager is yada. And I was correct. So a wise man knows time and judgment. Now you already knew that. Yahusha already knew what his time and judgment was. What did he say? He said, rise up. It's time for the Son of Man to be betrayed into the hand of sinners. And his misery was great upon him because what was he out there doing? What was he out there doing, sir? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking about when he discerned time and judgment, that it was time for him for his judgment to come. He was crying. He was definitely highly upset. He was definitely troubled. You know what I'm saying? So remember, it says a wise man heart discern. See, let's take a look at something else. Matthew 16, I believe. And again, this is still going back to the slothful man not roasting or not setting in motion or doing the things that are necessary. So you don't do the things that are necessary when it's time to get your game. You ain't gonna have no game. When I say game, I mean food. If you know about hunting, that's what they call it. Game. Ain't them people, hey, they just some bastards. Call food game. That's not game. That was a living being. You ain't even eating this nigga. You didn't even kill this nigga and put his head on your wall. You ever seen walk to somebody's house and they got dead animals on the wall? That's some weirdo stuff to me right there, man. Even without the word. Nigga, I want to walk in here and see a moose on the wall. Did you eat this nigga? You just killed this nigga and stuffed his head and put it on your wall. You're weird to me. But that's your business. That's what you're into. I would agree because you kids killing just to kill. And we can't eat no moose anyway, so I don't know. White folk will. I definitely don't. I definitely remember when I was in prison. That CO came up and said, "Yeah, guys, I got some raccoon. You want some coon? Get out of my face." Do I look like I eat coon to you, sir? Too much good, man. I barbecued it. I'm straight. I seen many a raccoon jump out of a dumpster, and that never looked appealing to me. You know what I'm saying? But you know they different. They like to eat them type of animals. Any of y'all ever ate some strange animals in your lifetime? You had coon? Oh, I know your people country. You liked it too, didn't you? Say with chew it. You had a strange animal in your time? That is a strange animal. Squid. You went to a restaurant or someone prepared it? Had to, because not too many people eat squid. Not too many people cook squid. You got to be a professional to make squid. Yeah, your people country. I give you that. What, squid? Yeah, I've had fried. Oh man, Kira said she done had gator, turtle, and rabbit. I've had gator. Calamari, that's what I'm gonna say. That's what they call it, calamari. Yeah, that's why you gotta get a restaurant. So ain't too many people at the house talking about I'm cooking fried calamari. Yeah, I was just gonna say some people like to eat octopus. Yeah, that's what they call it. Doggone calm. Ain't that what that nigga Malcolm X had in his head? In that movie, that's what he said he had in his head. The nigga had that conch in his head. He had to stick his head in the toilet. No, because that's what they call octopus. I remember that. They call it conch. No, that's snail. Oh, that's snail? Yeah, that's snail. Either way, disgusting things. Disgusting things. You know, I wouldn't have a desire to partake. I haven't had any strange animals in my time. I turned them down. No, I mean, my mother cooked most of all my meals. I didn't really deviate outside of that. Oh, no. I can't say I've had the pleasure. Can't say I've had the pleasure. Mordecai having a bad day. No. I didn't have people offer strange food, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. Want some frog legs? No. I'm straight. I'm straight, you know. I think the only strange food I ever ate was catfish. I utterly abhorred it. You know what I'm saying? Junk had an aftertaste. It's quite disgusting. Didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Praise Yahuwah. That's not lawful now, so I never have to worry about it. And then you just don't get the chance to delight in such delightful food that comes from the ocean. Indeed. Kira say her people eat cow tongue. Oh, yeah, pig feet, that's nice. You ate pig feet? You look like a nigga walk around the hood with pick a pig feet, got it off the red van in the hood. I mean, that was only when I was a child. As I got older, it was like... I already know. Because that's when most people I knew, that's when they ate it. Everybody had the little candy van come through the way, and that nigga always got them doggone pig feet in the van. All this candy in here, and this nigga selling pig feet and pork rinds. How does pig feet and pork rinds go with candy? And pig every time. These three things don't go together. You know what I'm saying? I feel you because I feel you. 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 Tavon say with the red top, and Marquise definitely say he ate that pig feet. Oh, it didn't do nothing for me. Man, look here, right when I was a jit, and I seen a chick buy any of that stuff off that van, I was like, I don't want to mess with her. That's a ghetto hoe. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I just had it in my mind. Classy women don't eat this type of food. You know, I was young. I'm 11, 12, 13 years old. That's just how I thought. Oh, she eat pig feet. Oh, she ate one of the sausages out the jar. No such thing. She grew up to smoke Newports and Blacks every day. Always got a malt liquor in her hand. What nothing to do with that. Matthew 16:1. It says, the Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting, desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. Oh, you hypocrites. You can discern the face of the sky, but you cannot discern the signs of the times. Now, we're right, it says, a wise man's heart discerns time and judgment. And that's what he was telling them now. If you was wise, you wouldn't be asking me for no sign, because you'd be able to discern. And remember, judgment is mishpat. So you would know what was right and wrong. And if you knew the judgment, was we went over there during tabernacle, then you would know what is to come when you who is judged is right. And we know the things that he said. Remember, say the thoughts of the righteous is right. You who judged it, judgment for what? Yahushua to die and for you to believe. And in that was his mercy. And if they would have known the signs of the times, then they would have known that he was the man in Daniel 9, and they wouldn't have asked him that stupid question. He said, a wicked and adulterous generation seek after a sign, and there shall be no sign given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonah, which he let them know. Discern the signs of the times, you big dummy. Now, I'm going to tell you something, right? And I done told y'all this here about the Lord many times before. Oh, he ain't play no games, and he definitely would be considered to be a sarcastic person. You know what I'm saying? He would definitely be considered to be, if you really pay attention to his responses to the people, that would be considered to be sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? Because he felt like, nigga, you stupid. You know you stupid. You really don't want to hear what I got to say anyway. So I'm going to belittle you for your wickedness when I answer you, so you can know how stupid you are. So the same word that you rejected can send you straight to the place you desire to go. Back to Ecclesiastes chapter 8. And I feel him on that. Some people are like, that's really not my Jesus. You know, that's people's favorite line. Now, I remember a lady told me that, not my Jesus. The God I serve don't do that. I say, well, baby, what God you serve? Because you don't serve the one in the word. I miss being in the street because you meet very, very, what's the word I want to look for? Interesting people who have interesting perspectives. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I know being in the street showed me is people have no idea what is actually contained in the word of Yahuwah. Verse 7 of Ecclesiastes 8. Listen what he say, for he know not that which shall be, but who can tell him when it shall be? And that's why I mentioned that's why we read the parts about you don't know what a day gonna come. Because nobody can tell you what it's gonna be. And then when it come, nobody can't tell you when it shall be. Let me put that back. You don't know what it will be, and then you don't know when it'll come. Don't nobody in here know when they gonna die and how they gonna die. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? And the average person, a time or two in their lifetime is wondered, how am I going to leave here? Hopefully it's not in pain. Nevertheless, we don't need that. Let's drop down some. Let's look at verse 10. He said, I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of the Kadash, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This is also vanity. Who can y'all think of amongst the kings who that relied or would go into? He said, I saw the wicked buried and who come and gone from the place of the Kadash, and they were forgotten in the city. Do you recall any of the wicked kings? They didn't get to get buried in the sepulchre of the kings. They were in the Kadash city. They were some of them kings. They were in Jerusalem. And as soon as if you get buried with the kings, you'd be remembered, wouldn't you? That was a righteous king, you know. That was Josiah, Hezekiah. Those were righteous men. You know what I'm saying? But if you a nigga like Hoshea, you know what I'm talking about? Nobody remembers you. Because you don't even get buried in the sepulchre of the king. Don't throw that nigga body out here somewhere. And then you get forgotten. And you know why you get forgotten? Because there's no memory of the wicked. And why is there no memory of the wicked? According to the word. Why would you think there's no memory of the wicked? They work perish, and not only that, their name ain't written in heaven. So what are you remembered for? But you know, oh, you was coming to retrieve him, and she had a little small belt for you. Golly, what belt go to who? Who used that for? Oh, that came off. Oh, now that is innovative. That is innovative. Oh, that's why you feel like you playing with him. You hit him with that baby tap. Oh, okay. But she hit the switch real quick. Who? I beat niggas. I have him right here talking about you told him to beat me around here sad. He gonna think you're a slave. Now I was listening to that earlier what a brother was talking about on one of the videos. He was talking about the distortion of history. And I wouldn't doubt it. That them white folks, they in fact could doubt it. I don't have 100% empirical data from research that I've done, but I'm definitely fully persuaded that they hire artists and things of that nature to alter things in museums to push narratives. You know what I'm saying? I definitely know that. I just know that from doing enough reading to know that what these people be lying about. But in the reference what he was referring to is that 50 million of us didn't come over here on a slave ship. That a lot of us had already made our way over here, coming from Europe. You know what I'm saying? Now this is something that me and her done talk about because our last names are Scottish and Irish, and a lot of our people were ruling in Europe at that time. You know what I'm saying? Which means that some of our ancestors probably were not enslaved when they arrived here. They may have got enslaved after they got here, but they didn't come over here in that state. You know what I'm saying? And that's what his point was. They didn't come over here like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I already told you, y'all already know. Europe is named after a black woman. Probably a brew for that matter. Princess Europa. That's who it's named after. And that's why they came up with, the Dark Ages. Because they didn't really want you to know that niggas ran it. And he was talking about why a lot of blacks helped fight in the the Revolutionary War is because we still had people back then. At that time, that's about accurate. Because if you say King James wrote the Bible, then his commissioned his version in 1611, the American Revolution was only 100 years after that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that, maybe 150 years after that. It wasn't that long after that. You know what I'm saying? And black folks still had a lot of considerable sway in that area of the world at that time. They just whitewashed it out. You know what I'm saying? But they don't like to have them conversations. See, I don't talk with some of the people I know business-wise about them conversations because it's going to hurt their feelings. Because they're going to think you're being a black supremacist. No, we're not being anything. You've just been lied to. You love lies. And you don't want to let go of them lies because you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? And you're an idiot because you'd rather be comfortable with a lie than to just accept that you've been lied to. You know what I'm saying? White folks don't want to hear that type of stuff. That everything they done built their stuff on is a bold-faced lie. Like I remember dude was talking about this here, man, like they was mad with Trump because he mentioned Andrew Jackson in a speech. Do y'all know who Andrew Jackson is, right?
Yeah, we know.
Who is Andrew Jackson, sir?
He was that nuthead that when they killed the children and said he's one of them.
Yeah, he definitely did some evil things. But one of the things that he wanted to do that almost got him killed is that he didn't want to have nothing to do with a central bank. And Trump referenced him in a speech. And people who don't know history, they automatically, he's a racist, this, that, and the third, and that's not why he mentioned it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, King James was black. I mean, black people were ruling Europe and England specifically at that time. You know what I'm saying? But King James being black is irrelevant. I know a lot of brews like to push that, but it don't really mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a deal. But that's a historical fact. You can find it easily. It's very easy information to find. It's not difficult information. You know what I'm saying? It's just having the desire to find it. But of course, y'all know that we didn't talk about that before. Does anyone recall why the American Civil War was fought in the first place? Yeah, they wanted a central bank. That's the only reason why it was fought. Yeah, I mean, they were all bucking. You know what I'm saying? So, but there were two wars before that. And that's the war 1812. Yeah, War 1812. That's why they fought the War 1812. That's a real woman.
One popular version of her story was a Yoshi princess who was adopted by Zeus.
Now that's new because I read that in prison. So They definitely stated she was a real
One
woman.
of the rules was like Sabbath or something like that. I know it's Sabbath.
Yeah, I
I
had
ain't
read.
never read it. That's what I was know.
No, I had read that up the road. They had a picture of her and all. Oh, fair looking woman, light brown skin. Indeed, indeed. Because that's where I read it at. That's where I would throw. I ain't know no word then, so I ain't never forget that. Because as a matter of fact, the book that I was reading was talking about the Dark Ages. Because that I found out probably about '07 or '08 that black people rule Europe. I mean, I didn't really care. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Really wasn't no concern to me. You know what I'm talking about? So when I seen dudes when I got out say King James is black, King James is black. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. I mean, shoot, clearly, if you know who was around at that time, they just kind of make it one. And see, those were bruised. Like those wasn't ham. Like we were looking at something earlier this morning. Like what they showed them doggone what them niggas from the Sudan. Boy, ain't no way in hell them your people. You know what I'm talking about? Screw their skin tone. They don't look nothing like you. Their heads ain't shaped like yours. Their facial structure ain't like yours. Like we don't look nothing like them people. You know what I'm saying? And then a point was made, which is accurate. You don't see them niggas in Africa wearing ankhs and horse eyes. You know what I'm saying? And none of that. Just stupid niggas over here. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no nigga in Africa walking around with no ankh around his neck. But I did remember looking at that dude, Cradle Mutwa. You know who Cradle Mutwa is? You ever heard of David Icke? David Icke used to kick it with Cradle Mutwa is an African Zulu shaman. So he used to kick it with him. And that nigga had a chain that had like a reptilian creature. No cap, no exaggeration. Penis was this long on his chain. And he was saying this is where human beings came from. You know what I'm saying? With this reptilian creature with this abnormal penis. And I'm like, bruh, you walk around with this? You walk around with a nigga schlong on your neck?
I had shared that video. That's what they were. They were dancing with them.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's what they worship.
Indeed.
God, straight meat.
Absolutely.
But you know that is, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you gotta remember now, when I'm looking at this, I'm up the road. So I don't know no word. You know what I'm saying? So when I see a nigga in this book with a chain on, with a creature with his penis on it, I'm like, yo, these niggas is weirdos. You know what I'm saying? Cause I don't want to listen to damn nigga who got a nigga penis on this chain. You know what I'm saying? Then when I was finding about, when I told her when I was on the road, I would read about every religion known to man. I mean, what else you got to do? You know what I'm saying? Like that book I had sent y'all the PDF, like Behold the Pale Horse, like books like that were banned in this state. Like you're not allowed to have that book. If you get caught with that book, they're gonna take it from you and or put you in confinement. But I had read it up before I came to prison. So I'm like, that book ain't that deep for y'all to be doing all that. Because the stuff that he got in that book is common knowledge if you research. Like you can write the United States government and get this information. Like a lot of stuff that people say conspiracy theories, they're not conspiracies. The stuff is public record. That's why I had shared that video in there with Judge Joe Brown talking about that James Earl Ray ain't killed Martin Luther King, which this is commonly known amongst many people, but he heard the case himself after the fact. And he had all the pertinent information. And they say, oh yeah, man, it was a two-man hit team. They shot him from such and such. You know what I'm saying? But it's the fact of narrative. Like you cannot, but if it comes through mainstream sources, you very well can't believe it because it's just to push a story. Like I had some of this picture. I don't know if y'all seen it. They came out with some Nike Air Maxes that's supposed to have holy water in the air bubble with the papal seal on the shoe. Holy water in the air bubble. How you know this set apart water? There's no such thing in the text as set apart water. What makes this water set apart? I never understood that. Holy water. What is holy water? That's what they say you can get rid of demons with. Throw holy water. Well, I don't want no water he done blessed because he probably done blessed somebody else after before that. Now according to the text, there is set apart oil, and it's supposed to be made from specific herbs, and everybody can't use it. Mm-hmm. Straight up. Now there is, because he called it the art of hypocrisy. There is definite oil in the law that only the priest can use. And Yahuwah said, if you make an oil after this concoction, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, but people used to have it. Oh no, they probably didn't make it how he said to make it. I ain't fooling with you. Who that dude used to come on late night? I know one of y'all know that dude used to come on late night trying to sell you holy rugs and water. Oh, you almost let him get your $20. Hey, when you don't know no better, that's what's gonna happen. You like, shoot, this help me out. Yeah, that's what dude was selling. Who I'm talking about? Prayer cloths, holy water. He said whatever you want. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell y'all something, right? Because I just heard T.I. ignorant, stupid, wicked behind talking about the word. You know what I'm saying? And that evil, no good bastard not tell that wicked nigga this to his face if I ever saw him. Don't you dare speak on my father, you no good bastard, you. Nigga, we know you spread your booty cheeks open for the Baphomet long time ago. I ain't pausing nothing. That nigga a fact. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. The reason why I say that is I've been in the street. Ain't no nigga in the history of criminality get caught with them type of weapons and get a year and a day. I'm talking about even if you ain't got no criminal record. My homeboy caught 7 years for a pistol and a shotgun. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I don't think he told on nobody, but he told on himself because he did something he ain't had no business. Son strained for some change. That nigga made it shoot. Bands make him dance. That nigga went to dance and nigga clapping the booty for them Jewish men. Straight up. That nigga was in there singing DuckTales with them niggas. Indeed, because he went and talking about, because that's how a lot of people feel that the Bible was created to control people. No, wicked men use the book to control people. Because Yah has never sought to control anyone. You can do whatever you want to do. But just know that there's consequences for what you do. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no different. You don't try to control your children. You tell them, you can do this. But if you don't do this, I'm going to whoop your behind. Well, guess what, son? I'm not controlling you. You can do whatever you want. But disobey me, though. And there's consequences. It's consequences. And a lot of people don't want to accept that. And I can't remember all the other stupids come out when I read the Bible. You don't read no Bible, nigga. See, T.I. the nigga who get nigga because he used nice little words and this, that, then the third. That nigga ain't smart. That nigga's not intelligent. Don't let that nigga fool you. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be that smart to be doing what he doing. That nigga down with Pan. That nigga be in the house playing flutes. Dancing around with Pan. No good bastard. That's what he get. I told you now, if you're an enemy of my father, you're an enemy. It's one thing you a sinner, but don't you talk on what you don't know. You keep that stuff to yourself. You know what I'm talking about? That nigga was saying something the Bible used to control a whole bunch of other dribble that I can't recall at this time. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And that's all to do, make itself seem like he's smart. Nigga ain't smart. If you were smart, you would have got out of the record business, not letting them people pierce your booty hole. Or pierced another nigga booty hole. And guess what? We know people, some of y'all know people who done told you, they know what's going on in there. Don't think he exempt. That nigga been in the music game since 2001. This nigga done had a TV show on VH1. You know you done some weirdo stuff you on VH1, nigga. And you had your own show. You know what I'm saying? Dancing with Robin Thicke. Come on, man. Yeah, you gotta know who his daddy is, though. The daddy used to be the father on the sitcom back in the day. The name of it escaped my mind. I want to say Growing Pains. I don't recall the name of the show. But his daddy's an actor. They're Canadian. You understand? But I'm just like this here. Nothing against it. Like I said, I don't respect that nigga. That nigga talk all that activism. John, this nigga got a dope house museum. That's hypocrisy. You can't respect that. But see, niggas don't care because it's full of culture. This nigga's a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? If you pass that point in your life, why would you create something that would steam that? And it's not the fact that it's really about musicians. This nigga got Pyrex pots in there, man. This nigga got crack cooking paraphernalia in there, man. You got to see the hypocrisy when it's present. It was growing pain. Word. But let's keep on going, man. I don't talk about that wicked bastard no more. Verse 11. He said, because sin is against the evil work is not executed speedily, therefore, in the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know it shall be well with them that fear Elohim, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he fear not before Elohim. There is a vanity which is done upon the earth, and that there be just men unto whom it happened according to the work of the wicked. And again, there be wicked men to whom it happened according to the work of the righteous. I say that this is also his vanity. Now, that first half of that verse, you know, that's Yahushua. It happened to him just like it happened to the wicked because he got crucified with malefactors. But you have to realize that because that's what some people look at. If Yahuwah is so just, then why the sinners get to keep going and keep doing this and keep doing that? Because he's just throwing it up against the day of judgment. Remember what he said in Genesis 15. The iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Let me show you the dude I was talking about he killed dead too. Acts 13. Is it Acts 13? It might be Acts 12. Acts 12 and 20. You know, it's a lot of people be speaking on the word, man. Don't know what the hell they be talking about. And guess what? Niggas love celebrities, so they gonna hearken to everything he say. That's right, the Bible is made to control. What's that comedian nigga be running? Corey Holcomb nigga ought to spit in that nigga face. Indeed. And what do they really do to control it? They only use the word for stupid niggas to give them their money. Still doing whatever you want to do. Just like that lady say, I'm sick of you sissies. Yes, he does use the wicked to prove out the righteous. Indeed, he definitely used the wicked against Yahushua to prove him out. That's one of the best ways you want to see if somebody righteous or not. Use evil people against them. See what you do. That lady say, I'm sick of you sissies. Tired of it. I mean, spiritual is just the cap. I don't believe none of the words say. I really want to do what I want to do. I think could very well be spiritual. I told you, it's many spirits out here. It's all kind of spirits out here. Oh, that's the first thing I talked to my homeboy about that the other day. Ain't no such thing as a personal relationship with Elohim. That ain't in the text. You need a personal relationship with Jesus. Jehovah's Witness walked up on me today too. That junk was funny. And he said, can you tell me what that says on your necklace? I said, that says Yahuwah. He says, yes, that's what I thought that said. The tetragrammaton. Used 7,000 times in the original scripture. Walked away. He didn't want no problem. He didn't want no problem. He already knew what it was. You know, Jehovah, you know, ain't too many times that Jehovah's Witness turned down a good time. Ain't too many times. He seen the chain. He didn't want to talk. He said, I don't know. That nigga might know something. Leave that nigga alone. And he got two of them. That look like that double the trouble. That nigga slid. He was looking for an Indian man, though. That son, them Jehovah's Witnesses got material in any language under the sun. I be seeing Jehovah's Witnesses posted up at the bus stop by y'all house, by that public. They be out there all the time. Just sitting out there. You ain't preaching nobody. You niggas wasting time. I hope they paying y'all for this. They just have to pay. And they bring a little thing that holds the pamphlets with them. They always be posted up on 103rd. Oh, they after a while they start asking. I don't know. Those niggas don't look like they want to talk about Jehovah. So I don't deal with destruction, ruin, and chaos. See, I was talking about this earlier, right? You know, y'all familiar with Brigham Young? Brigham Young. You know, that's a university. BYU. He's a founder of the school, but he's a direct descendant of Joseph Smith. BYU is a Mormon school. They just had their first ever starting black quarterback in the history of their university. They was like, black people were not allowed in that university until like 1978. And they feel the same way Jehovah's Witnesses felt, because Jehovah's Witnesses did not allow black people to join till about 1975, 1980. They were they were a part of it, but you couldn't join. You couldn't go in the temple. Them people wasn't on that. Now they like this, unless some niggas was on some other type of time. You couldn't be no Jehovah's Witness out there. You know Stanley though, the Kingdom Hall.
What main hub?
That's really right.
Oh, I don't know if they have a main. I don't know what a Jehovah's Witness main hub is, but the main hub for the Mormon church is in Salt Lake. No, I said the main hub. I'm just saying the main. I'm going to say the main hub for the Mormon churches in Salt Lake City.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that. That's
I
right.
think one of the main ones is in New York, but they have big like congregation meetings. Like everybody in Florida, we all went to like the Cali one time. All the Jehovah's Witnesses in Georgia, they meet up in one big area, and they're like they meet for a crowd. They be like white men. And
Marquis say the Jehovah's Witness headquarters in Bethel, New York.
it's in New York. That's the big.
But I know Mormons didn't allow black people because they say we were cursed with black skin and elongated penises. Pretty much. And you know Steve Young, who played for the 49ers, he's a direct descendant of Brigham Young. You know what I'm saying? But that nigga said that like he finna rob you. Charles Taz Russell is the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses. I mentioned that to y'all before. They used to be called Russellites before they were called Jehovah's Witnesses. Charles Taz Russell was a 33rd degree Freemason. And if you was to Google his grave right now, it is a literal Masonic shrine. Joseph Smith was the founder of the Mormon Church, and his well was a 33rd degree Freemason. He was assassinated because he tried to run for the president of the United States. He said he had a dream and that an angel came to him and brought him the place of Nephi and said there were more to the word, and that's where the Book of Mormon comes from. But these men were Masons. So that's all you need to know right there. Brigham Young founded that university because he's a direct descendant of Joseph Smith. Yes, he is. And Steve Young, the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, No, what they did, I mentioned it because today, for their game today, they're starting their first ever black quarterback ever. They didn't allow people to play on their football team till like 1974, and they didn't allow black people to join until like 1978. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to Brigham Young University, you are required to do a 2-year Mormon mission. Yeah, most Christianity founders were 33rd degree Freemasons. I have not been able to confirm that Martin Luther was a 33rd degree Freemason. And then also, what's the other dude named? John Calvin. He's the one who started the Protestant movement, and I can't recall who started the Baptist movement. Huh? Baylor? I believe it is. I believe that's a private school. I believe it is. It's a couple, like what his name is, Pat Robertson. He has a private Christian college. I used to hate that bastard. That bastard there looks like the personification of evil. Pat Robertson, 700 Club. He was trained by Oral Roberts, and Oral Roberts University still exists to this day. Oral Roberts stood up and said, "If y'all don't give me $3 million by such and such day, I'ma die." I don't know if they got it in time or not, but he definitely didn't die when he told him he was gonna die. But Acts 13 and 20. No, Creflo Dollar is still alive. Eddie Long, the one who died. That nigga hit him with the Goldberg. Who's next? Yes, Eddie Long was a confirmed pedophile. Allegedly, I guess. I don't know too much about it.
I thought he was a
I don't know about R.J. Washington. I can't speak on. Oh, no, yeah, but he was from out of town. He wasn't a local. R.J. Washington was local. You know what I'm saying? I know he died of cancer. I don't know. I've never heard anything negative about him doing anything negative to anyone. So I'm not gonna do the man like that. I don't know. But Eddie Long definitely touched little boys. Yeah, R.J. Washington died about 3 years ago. But Eddie Long definitely was a pedophile. That nigga definitely was taking pictures, sending it to little boys with spandex on. You know what I'm saying? And niggas tried to justify it. You can't justify no men don't send men them type of photographs. Let me take a picture in mosquitoes and send it to my homeboy. That's a definitely way to get blocked. You know what I'm saying? That's not normal. Acts 13-20. That's not normal. He said Herod was wildly displeased with them of Tyre and Sidon, but they came with one accord to him, and having made Blastius the king's chamberlain their friend, desired shalom, because their country was nourished by the king's country. And upon a set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel, sat upon his throne and made an oration unto them. And the people gave a shout, saying, "It is the voice of a God, and not of a man." And immediately the Malachim of Yahuwah smote him, because he gave not Elohim the esteem, and he was eaten of worms and gave up the ruach. Killed him right then and there on the spot. He said, "You know what? I'll get this nigga out of here. He don't want to give me honor. Sounds like the voice of a God." That's why, hey, boy, you got to stay humble, because a lot of niggas get like that. Shoot, he just was telling me a dude who in the word who rap just posted talking about when they gonna let us go mainstream. Get your stupid butt out of here. The word of Yahuwah ain't mainstream. You sound like a fool. When they gonna let us go main? What you want to be on BET, nigga? You want to be with Lil Duval on the stage at the awards, nigga? That's what you want? Niggas so dumb. You think a whole bunch of sinners want to hear a word of Yahuwah? That's what I want to ride to in my car while I'm getting some top. Keep the commandments. You know what I'm saying? I'm around here finna go sell me some rocks. Let me throw in this righteous music real quick. Well, we finna go murder a nigga. Let me set the mood. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Nigga can't be serious. But back to that word that we was looking at, man. That's how dudes be sounding, though. Oh, we already did that word. Nobody want to hear that. Let me serve Jesus. Nigga finna go hit every woman in the audience that night. These niggas high on cocaine while they there. Twerk for Jesus. I'm saying, let's just be honest. How many of y'all wanted to hear songs about the Lord when you was committing evil? Not till Sunday, and you ain't paying attention then. I don't know, D might have been in there singing and clapping. They make me feel good. So you already know. Praising the devil, because she put a lot of blood as soon as she leaves. Well, I've been glad to get away from you niggas. I ain't been able to get high all day. My mama was watching it. Whole time she done burnt one for you left. You ain't shit. Let's look at the next word, the word for hunting. In Proverbs 27. So that's what we were looking at right there. You know, the separation of getting dropped off for being slothful because you were not diligent or took action. That word for hunting is sa'id. It's your hunting, it's your game, it's your food, it's your provision. You have sod, yod, and dalet. Sod, yod, and dalet. Well, Mordecai is having a bad day. Oh, that's not Mordecai? Little Mike, sit down. Be still. It means hunting, game, or food provision. You have your sod, you have your yard, you have your dollar. Yard. Yard. Sod, Yah, and Dalet. Yah. Yah. Right hand. That nigga with the missing.
It was.
Like it was so serious.
That's why
Sod, I mean, I can feel you because they definitely both sound the same. Sod, right hand, Dalet. Well, y'all ain't right.
Side, right? Yeah. You got your point.
I wonder whatever happened to that dude who used to be around here talking about, got him. That nigga disappeared mighty quickly.
The nigga with the ugly mouth with the yuck mouth. Some of the nigga that went viral here like, got him.
That nigga disappeared rather quickly. I guess he optimized that as much as he could.
Yeah, we
Gotta
still
ride
wow.
that wave.
Yeah.
As long as you can.
I see your thoughts are moving towards the market.
Thoughts supported towards Mashal? Anyone else? You got something for?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be on.
Well, you have your side, you know, the way, the yard, your right hand, and then your Dalet, your door. I don't know who said. He said thought. I don't know where he got thought.
That's why.
This nigga back in the Roger. That's what I was at.
No, I did not. I didn't say Raj that time.
But he repeated
I
it.
heard Raj too though.
He definitely repeated it.
He said side, right hand, and
That's
Dalet.
what I'm saying. I did. That's what I'm saying.
Because you spell the word Tsayid.
I didn't know what you said, but you repeated it afterwards.
I got it.
Sod, Yah, and Dalet.
And then you approved it. You ain't even say nothing. He said,
I just heard that. That thought just threw me off. He just felt like throwing that in there.
everybody just let it ride.
Well, I tell you what, what I got for you is that the work is that the work of Yahusha allows you entrance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
So when you actually, because this person has not roasted or done the work or set in motion, then therefore he can't get entrance. Why? Because it goes back to what we were looking at last night, that the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, or seeks after Yahuwah more than his neighbor. So the slothful person does not do the work that allows them to get in the door. You know what I'm saying? So let's take a look at John chapter 8. And what it really means is that you're neglecting a great offer of salvation. And we'll be brief over here and move on. John 8 and 23. Because we want to deal with the substance of the righteous more so than anything. And he said unto them, you are from beneath and I am from above. You are of this world and I am not of this world. I said therefore unto you that you shall die in your sins. If you believe that I am not he, you shall die in your sins. Now remember when the man in John chapter 6 had asked him, what is the work that I must do to do the work of Elohim? And he said, believe on him whom he have sent. So the slothful person does not set in action to be able to get in the door, because the food or the game that you're hunting the word, because that's what you're seeking after. That's your food, that's your game, that's your provision. You know what I'm saying? What did he say? Come after me. If you're coming after him for the context of that word, you're hunting him or you're seeking after him. Again, we'll go back to what we discussed last night. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. The righteous seeks after Yahuwah more than his neighbor. And you have individuals, they don't seek after Yahuwah. And that was my point of what I mentioned to y'all before. You can't waste time and energy on people who are hell-bent on staying in the same spot they were in. You don't have to answer this out loud. Just ask yourself mentally, spiritually and emotionally? Are you still in the same place that you were 12 months ago after Tabernacles ended? And if so, that's your fault. That means you wasted 12 months of your life. You know what I'm saying? You wasted 12 months of your life. If you still look at things the same, if you still think the same, if you still desire the same things, and I'm not talking about desiring the same things that are natural things that people would desire. You know what I'm saying? Normal course of things. Then you wasted 12 months of your life. That means you did not. Okay, Michael asked me this here earlier. Little Mike asked me this here. He said, so when you come out your mother's womb, how do you grow? Did you come out this big? You know what I'm saying? That's what he asked. And this is a child's mind, but you can sit back and look at it like as time go on as an individual, people always say anything that's not growing is dead. You know what I'm saying? So you shouldn't be thinking the same way that you thought. Of course, most of y'all young. Ain't no way in the world I'll still be thinking the way I did at 39, at 29, at 29 and 19. That means I wasted 20 years. That was just 20 years of just here. You know what I'm saying? You don't serve no purpose. You know what I'm saying? And I done told you this before. If you want to see what you're going to become, then look at the 5 people you talk to the most, and there you have it. You know what I'm saying? Look at the 5 people you hang around the most. Like, how do you expect to have spiritual growth and you spend all your time with sinners? How do you expect that to occur? You have to be the largest jackass in the history of the world if you think that you're going to grow and elevate spiritually, hanging with people who are spiritually dead. What are they going to be able to give you in the course of the conversation and the interaction in regards to that if you say that's what's important to you? What are they going to be able to impart to you to cause you to grow spiritually and they ain't even alive? That makes no sense. That's no different if you do business. Well, how do you expect to elevate yourself as a businessman and you talk to niggas who clock in every day? What can they give you in the course of that conversation that can allow you to get insight into what it is that you're doing? If you're a wife, how can you get insight to being a better wife talking to whores? What can a whore tell you about pleasing a husband? She can't tell you nothing about pleasing no husband. All she can tell you about is how to please his genitals. And guess what? As Pimp C said it, you know, that stuff works for a minute, but it never lasts. So after that temporary sensation is passed, you still got to be able to know how to interact with this man. And stuff like that don't make no sense. You wouldn't sit around with a crackhead talking about things of life. What is crackhead gonna be able to tell you? I'm just feeling like how Judge Matthew be saying, crackheads can't tell you something. No, all of them ain't stupid. You got functional crackheads. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, shoot. Some of y'all done went to a crackhead before. You went to the doctor's office. He probably smoked the rock before you got there. You know what I'm saying? You got somebody, every crackhead. Yeah, every crackhead ain't useless. But we just use it as an example. Because just because they smoke rocks don't mean they ain't got nothing in their brain. Definitely can't tell you about how to operate functionally in your life. Because this nigga escapes reality with a 40 every day. You know what I'm saying? Ain't much he gonna be able to tell you. You can't talk to a nigga about how to be a father. This nigga ran out on his kids. What is nigga gonna tell you? Oh, let me tell you how to raise your son. Well, nigga, why you ain't do that with yours? Well, you know your mama was crazy, so I don't want to hear that crap, nigga. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. You can't tell me about raising children. You ain't raised me, nigga, and the other one in the back. Well, that's what a nigga love to say when they you know what I'm saying? But that's somebody who lives in a state of delusion. And sometimes you have to let people stay in their delusion. You know what I'm saying? Because that's more so to comfort herself. That nigga know she wasn't there. That nigga know I was in the back smoking rocks. You know what I'm saying? Indeed, but I already told you where that come from. You know, hey, everybody ain't that strong. You know what I'm saying? We could take everybody in this room and put them in the same situation, and everybody may not react the same to that situation. You know what I'm saying? And we could just take the word out to play. It's all going to be relative to the amount of mental strength and intestinal fortitude in that individual. You know what I'm saying? Then when you bring in the word into play, it's going to be according to their level of faith. That's why I tell you I don't really look at. That's where mercy and compassion come in at. Sometimes you shouldn't look at how stupid somebody is. You should let them know I don't agree with your conduct, but try to understand what led you to make that choice. What led you to that thought process. That way you can be able to have the ability to be compassionate enough to tell them what not to do so that wouldn't happen again. Because everybody's not going to react the same. The only difference is when it's a little different if you know the nigga know better. But most people don't know how to cope. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not taught that, especially not black people. You know what I'm saying? You're not taught how to cope with traumatic experiences. So people tend to deal with it however they feel is easiest for them to comfort themselves. Some people use drugs. Some people use alcohol. Some people use sex. Some people become distant. You know what I'm saying? Some people immerse themselves in their work. You know what I'm talking about? Some people just suppress it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody don't know how to deal with it. But if anything traumatic, the best thing to do to deal with it is to face it head on. If you face it head on, then it will no longer have the power over you to distort your reality and your perspective. But if you don't face it head on, all it'll take is a trigger moment to bring that back, and those feelings and emotions are going to rush back, and you're going to go back to that time and place, and you're going to be dysfunctional. You know what I'm saying? But coping skills. If you don't teach your children nothing else, but teach them coping skills. Teach them how to be able to cope with the things that life throw at you, because they're necessary. It's a very underrated skill that is not imparted on a regular basis, and I ain't got nothing to do with no work. But you definitely need to have coping skills. Because if they don't, they probably gonna go get high. That's why most people go get high. I talked to a lot of bases in my time because I always wanted to know why they got high. Like I used to always like, why you smoke rocks, bro? Like of all the things in life to do, why do this? Yeah, I'm making money off of it, but I was genuinely interested. And most of them said I didn't want to deal with reality. Now they didn't go into what got them to that point, but as I got older, I realized something happened to them, and that was their way of dealing with it. And the rest of them were just doing it to follow behind a woman. You know what I'm saying? Or they were druggies. Because you got some people who are druggies. Y'all know any druggies? No, when I say a drug is someone who just genuinely likes to get high, and druggies try all manner of drugs. See, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they'll try anything. Want to pop a bean? Sure. Want a mushroom? Why not? Want some DMT? Why not? Oh, y'all ever heard of DMT? Oh no. That's a hallucinogen. Only way I know about it because of Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan liked to use DMT and he liked to talk about it. Makes you hallucinate. Psychedelic. I can't recall where he say it come from, but it's a psychedelic. He definitely said he done had some weird experiences on. No, Joe Rogan, that's my dude. That dude that shout out. But he's definitely an atheist himself. Or borderline. What was I? I think I finished with that. Let's sit back and look at the second half of this verse. Back to Proverbs 12 and 27. I think I might ask y'all all this. How many of y'all would consider yourself to be in your prime a habitual drug user or alcohol consumer? And when I say habitual, meaning that if it's 7 days in the week, you either smoke or drink either every day of the week or 5 to 7 days out of the week. So what was y'all reasons for wanting to get high or get drunk like that on a regular basis in regards to altering your mind state? Because that's what you're doing every day. You're altering your mind state. Now I'm gonna tell you, when it came to marijuana, I was a druggie. I genuinely enjoyed smoking marijuana. Because I used to tell niggas, I'm like, yeah, you know, I used to tell niggas like, yeah, I got a problem. I like to smoke. Because I was the type of nigga who would smoke an ounce or two in a day.
But drinking different. You can't function like that.
Some people can't function on marijuana. Marijuana hit everybody different.
I was just saying to the point where you really can't. I don't know how much you got. I ain't never been smoked so much I couldn't drive. I ain't never smoked so much I said do stuff that if you get drunk, you ain't gonna be able to do.
But see, I'm not talking about the stuff you can't be able to do. I'm talking about that meme you had something a while back, like you realize that every single solitary day you're altering your mind state. Now, this person's perspective was What are you trying to escape from that you feel the need to change your mind state every day? And you know what I'm saying? But I used to assess that back then. I really just genuinely liked to smoke marijuana. I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say when it came to, because I didn't use nothing else but marijuana. When it came to marijuana, I was a drug. You know what I'm saying? I would sample different types of marijuana. I didn't mind riding around looking for marijuana. I smoked marijuana from the time I woke up to the time the sun went down. And then I sold dope, so I was still up. So I literally smoked weed all day long, every single solitary day. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at it, that is not normal. You know what I'm saying? This is something to think about. That's all. This is something to think about. It's just something to think about. Because some people do get high and get drunk because you're trying to cover something up. It's something that you're trying not to think about. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can say for me, I knew that no matter if I smoked this blunt or not, whatever I was dealing with was still there. So I wasn't smoking to escape because I knew that you cannot escape reality. Reality is still going to be there. But you'll be surprised how many of your peers were smoking reefer because they were trying to escape. Trying not to think about things. That's why the United States, they give you sports and they give you movies because it's supposed to be a distraction so you don't want to think about your life, which you're utterly miserable with. That's why they craft the fantasy world here. So you think about things that you don't, so it takes you 2 hours away that you don't have to think about, I hate my job. It is. It is. In regards to it being a distraction. But for most people, his point was a distraction of what was really going on. But most people use it as a distraction of, I don't want to deal with my life. I hate it. And if you're at a point where you feel like you need outside stimuli to make you forget about your physical existence, you need to reassess your life and change it. Because you have the power to change it. Don't let nobody tell you you don't have power to change your life. Because if Yahuwah permits, anything you put your hand to do can be accomplished. If you don't like your life, then change it. Ain't no sense of complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody really want to hear all that because at the end of the day, your life is in your own hands. And if you don't like the direction it's going, then your hand is on the steering wheel, nigga. Go left. You know what I'm saying? Get off on the exit and ride another road. You don't have to keep going down the road you don't like. You are in command of the automobile. You can change directions at any time. You know what I'm saying? That's why I used to tell Brandon all the time. When he called me, man, I'm like, bro, I don't want to hear that, bro. If you don't like it, I'm tired of working for these people. Well, then do something about it. And after a while, that's what made him go get his CDL, because I told him that every time he called, like, bro, I don't want to hear that, bro. Your life is in your hands, man. The only thing you can do is put forth your best effort and let Yahuwah take care of the rest. That's about all you can do. That's all you can do. You can't do no more than that. You put your plan in place, you put your best foot forward, and after that, it's in Yahuwah's hands if it's going to be successful. You know what I'm saying? But all you can do is give your best. And if you know you gave maximum effort and it didn't work out, then so be it. You know, build it back up and keep on going. If that's something that you desire to do, you might find out, hey, even if you feel like it's not something you desire to do and you start, you should still finish. Just for the fact that you don't want to be that nigga who don't finish nothing. And I just learned that from my cousin daddy, because Cecil would start 15 different things and finish none of them. So that made us like, we don't want to be like him. That nigga used to sell, what's that stuff? The Ackleberry juice 1 week, next week you doing this. But he wanted to get rich quick scheme, so that's what he was looking for. He didn't want to put in no work and actually be successful. He wanted just millions of dollars to fall out the sky because he was Cecil Bussey. That's what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? But it don't work that way. So let's look at the second half of this verse. He said the substance of a diligent man is precious. So the first thing that we're going to look at is substance. Oh, I don't think I pulled the word substance up already. I thought I did, but I didn't. Now that's the word is for wealth and riches. It's home. You have a hey, you have a ooh, and you have a noon. I think we've used this word before. Hey, ooh, and noon for your substance. Now y'all should know that, right? When y'all was younger, and people used to give you money, you didn't regard it as precious. You spit it up real quick when your mama hit you off with some bread then. Because you didn't work for it. Now, I can say when I started selling dope, because I had jobs before I started selling dope, I didn't look at dope money like that. Because if you sell drugs, that money comes so fast, you feel like I can spend it just as fast because I'm going to get it right back. You know what I'm saying? But because I had done cooked chicken for a living, I worked at Pizza Hut for about a day and a half. Because I said, you know what, I'm going to get 2 jobs. And then I got off from KFC and went to Pizza Hut, and then I realized something. I don't have any kids. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? It's like 19. I'm not going to be doing this. Man. You know what I'm saying? For real. Not for minimum wage.
Well, now that I hear you talk, well, you really didn't have it.
I had 3. Actually, I had 5.
You can't count that dead beat. You might well stack that one.
I worked my first job. Actually, I had 6. No. My first job was washing cars with Cecil. That was my first job. He had a mobile detailing company at the time. That was the first job I ever had. No, that nigga actually came and got me and paid me consistently. You know what I'm saying? I give him credit for that. I will not take that from him. My second job, it was for a couple months. I was only like 13, 14 years old.
No, I don't count.
Shoot, it do count. I got paid. It was a summer job, and I got paid. I had to put on application. It was family. That's nepotism. Hey, no, I ain't helping the nigga out because, yeah, he helped because I didn't. Matter of fact, I didn't even have a choice in the matter. They was like, nigga, you finna go to work. You know what I'm saying? My second job was at Winn-Dixie in high school. I started that job on my 16th birthday. You know what I'm saying? And I worked there till one day it was raining, and my mama said, if you get sick, then you can't go to school, so you're not going to work today. You know what I'm talking about? So, because I rode my work, matter of fact, the Winn-Dixie that used to be Bailey's on Beach. We stayed in Mayfair. I rode my bicycle to work every single solitary day. You know what I'm talking about? I made $5.15 an hour. That's what at that time minimum wage was $4.25, and then it got bumped. When I started, it had got bumped up to $5.15. This was 1996. You know what I'm saying? Work there, then that was like, you didn't come to work. I said my mother wouldn't let me. That's no excuse. Well, nigga, I'm not grown, so I don't know what you want me to do. Because my dudes call that shot. So you think I'm gonna sneak out the house and go to work anyway? By the time she get off, I'm still not off. So I had to deal with her. So deal with you, or deal with her. I'm not coming. You know what I'm saying? Then I got a job at KFC. I started there September 1997 till I got fired in 99 for hitting people across the head. You know what I'm saying? Got a job at Jiffy Lube after that. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know about that. I worked at Jiffy Lube on Atlantic Beach. I did. I worked at Jiffy Lube on Atlantic Beach. No, I was there. I had scratched somebody's car, and then they piss tested me, and I tested positive. You know what I'm saying? And then I worked at Dairy Queen. You know what I'm talking about? I worked at Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen was the last job I had before I started selling rocks. Well, I started selling weed first. I sold weed first. No, I was gonna sell both, but then I just went all the way in. Matter of fact, because the dude who called the dude to buy my first pack, he died by earlier this year, man. Doggone Drew. He was the barber, man. That was my nigga. Doggone Drew. Drew out of here. You know, but like 58 years old. You know what I'm saying? Out of here. It wasn't no mid back. It was no such thing. No, I mean, it was just good weed. What you call mid was what niggas smoke regularly. No, Dro wasn't that prevalent in this city back then. Yeah, that was regular weed. No, I mean, now what people call mid now is what pretty much everybody sold. You know what I'm saying? You would know if it was trash weed because that's what niggas use who smoke boots. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no such thing as mid back then. Like, everybody weed was smoking. Nobody, if you would walk back in 98, 99, talking about, boy, you got some mid, everybody would know what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? We talking about 20 years ago. That's a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Say do what now? and we'll roll with that. So that's your substance. That Yahushua has secured life for you. And that's why you hold it as precious. Let's take a look back at Matthew 13. Yeah, I had a few jobs, man. I had a few. You know what I'm saying? But I worked at KFC for a long time. And went to work every day. I mean, the first time I ever got locked up, them people were nervous. They say it's just not like him not to come to work. I had got caught with a bag of weed at Regency Mall. And I was supposed to come to work that day and didn't come. Them people was nervous. They said, I know something happened. Because I don't miss no work now. Who? If I'm on that schedule, I'm coming. Well, I'm coming for mine. I wouldn't care how much it was. $7 an hour, $5 an hour, I'm coming for mine. I'm going to be there. I'm finna get every coin. And I ain't clocking out for no break. I'll take a break. I ain't clocking out, though. 13 and 44. Oh, that's here. My mama can tell you that now. I wasn't no type of nigga like fucking work. Oh, I ain't going to work. Oh, I'm going to work. I'm going to get mine. I was the same way when I was selling dope. Well, I'm out here. You know what I'm talking about? Well, I'm going to get mine. I got to have it. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me, y'all. Somebody had a bow. Right here, them boo-boo. Matthew 13:44. This nigga is stupid. He said again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hid in a field. Calm down, everybody. It ain't like y'all ain't never smelled no doodle diapers before. All these children here, y'all done smelled a few. Well, shoot, Nael like to eat, so shoot. Matthew 13:44. All right, come on now. We got some work to do. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a treasure hidden in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hide, and for joy thereof go and sell all that he have and buy that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, whom when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it. So again, this is his substance, is precious to him. And it's that Yahushua has secured life. This is the substance. Now, well, let's look at being diligent. Now, the word diligent here is karuz, and it means strict decision or sharp. So someone has made a strict decision to gain some substance. So remember, that's the word for it, is karuz. It means strict decision. You have kat, rosh, u, and sad. Kat, rosh, u, and sad. Remember, it means strict decision. Good grief, I called her Nato. That's a strong baby. No, I mean that's a strong baby. That's a strong baby. That's a lot of that's strong poop for a child of her stature. So think about that, right? The diligent substance is precious. So diligent means strict decision. What ain't nothing wrong with you? Ooh, Kot, Rosh, ooh, and Saj. Yes, sir. Kot, Rosh, ooh, and Saj. Hey, little stank. You cold? Now Leah likes to tell everyone why I call her Stanks, because she was told the story. But I was calling her that before she did that, because when she was a baby, she pooed on my shirt. The picture's still present somewhere. Come here, little Stanks. What you over there doing? You want to sit down on the floor? Abigail, why are you here? Where's your hat, Abigail? Even Mom stopped wearing her hat? No. You want to tell her to put it back on? That doesn't mean Leah stops doing it because they did it.
I say your thoughts will establish you to the way of the sun.
Your thoughts will establish you to the way of the sun.
Your thoughts will separate you.
I would rather come down.
Separate, indeed. Anyone else? Blood on his boot. Yes, there is blood on his mouth. That's what a deadlift will do to you. Get out my bag. Get out my bag. Yeah, chip bag. You got your own chips. Yeah, you're around here trying to pillage. You don't have chips? I'm sorry to hear that for you. You had chips? You did have chips. Yes. Huh? Yes, there are toys over there. Anybody else got anything for that? Yeah. Yeah. I'd go with that. Anybody else? Okay, Abigail. Okay.
Why do you have a band-aid?
Oh, because there's nothing wrong with my arm. It's okay.
Why did she put it on your arm?
Because she thought I had a cut. I definitely came up with that as well, that the way of Yahuwah secures separation. Yahusha is the way. Which takes us back to the second part of the last verse in Proverbs 12. And the way of righteousness is life, and the pathway thereof there is no death. So when we look at how the diligent, let me read it correctly, that the substance of a diligent man is precious. Knowing that what you said, that Yahusha secures life. So that's your substance. But your substance is because you're diligent in the way Yahuwah separates you because you made a strict decision. Let's take a look at Luke chapter 19. Abigail, does it look like that I care to have a conversation with you about chips that you're not going to get on the jacket? Very good. Luke 19. Here's Luke 19 and 11. As they heard these things, he added and spake a parable because he was near to Jerusalem. And because they thought the kingdom of Elohim should immediately appear. He said, therefore, certain noblemen went into a far country to receive himself a kingdom and to return. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said, children, you're making too much noise. You have absolutely nothing to discuss because you have no business. And he called his 10 servants and delivered them 10 pounds and said unto them, occupy till I come. Stop. Give me that. But his citizens hated him and sent a message after him saying that we will not have this man reign over us. So at the end of the day, these individuals did not see this man's substance as being precious because they hated him. They said there was no way that this man would rule over them. And again, this goes back to how the righteous are more excellent than their neighbor because they seek after him. So therefore, they have a desire for him to rule over him. And it came to pass that when he was returned, having received the kingdom, that he commanded these servants to be called unto him, to whom he had given the money, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Then came the first, saying, Lord, your pound have gained 10 pounds. And he said unto him, well, good servant, because you have been faithful in very little, have authority over 10 cities. And the second came, saying, Lord, your pound have gained 5 pounds. And he said likewise to him, be you also over 5 cities. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is your pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin. For I feared you, because you are an austere man, and you take up that you lay not down, and reap that you did not sow. And he said unto him, out of your own mouth will I judge you, you wicked servant. You knew I was an austere man, taking up that I laid down, and reaping that I did not sow. Now, do y'all remember what the word austere means? harsh, strict, uncompromising. So when you're diligent with the word, you have made a strict decision that this is what I'm going to do. And you make that strict decision because you know that Yahushua has secured life for you. Because that is your substance from your strict decision. See, Yahushua had made a strict decision from the jump street that he would lay his life down. He said, what? Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. That is a strict decision. Now let's look at another statement he made in John chapter 10 in regards to what I just mentioned. John chapter 10, about verse 15. You want to say hello? I know you do. Go ahead and say hello. Okay, that's enough. John 10 and 14 make it. He said, I'm the good shepherd and know my sheep and am known of mine. As Abba know me, even so I know Abba, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore do my Abba love me, because I lay down my life that I might take it again. No man take it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment I have received of my Abba. He let you know he made a strict decision. He made a strict decision to lay his life down. He knew in making this strict decision, he would get the substance of everlasting life. And that's where your diligence comes from, is making a strict decision. You know, in the book of Kings, what did Elijah come to the people and ask? He asked a question of the people in 1 Kings 18. Does anybody recall what he asked the people? Y'all remember what happened in 1 Kings 18? What you finna say?
That's the thing for the sacrifice. Yeah. He said, that's not choose today.
Yeah, he said, today choose whom you will serve. If Baal be God, serve him. But if Yahuwah be Elohim, serve him. And that's making a strict decision. Because really when the word comes, you have to make a strict decision. See, diligence in this definition is not what we're accustomed to when you say diligence. That's somebody who's focused, works hard. You know what I'm saying? In this instance, this is someone who's made a strict decision. And in making that strict decision, you see that the way of Yahuwah is going to separate you. And the reason why you made this strict decision, because you realize that the substance of the home is that Yahushua has secured life for you. And let's look at the other statement that Yahushua made up a little bit more in John chapter 10. Let's look at verse 9. He says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief come not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And I'm come that they might have life and they might have it more abundantly. So he's letting you know what his substance is. And we know what his substance is at the whole, because what did he secure in regards to securing life for you? He secured the Ruach HaKodesh. Because remember, say the wages of sin of death, but the gift of life is through Yahushua HaMashiach. So when you make that strict decision, you make a strict decision for the substance, and you value that substance as precious. So I did a little backwards, reading Matthew 13 about how these people view those jewels that they found as being precious. The word for precious is yakar. It is something that is valuable. It is something that is prized. It is something that is precious and rare, costly and highly valued and weighty. You have Yod, Kuf, and Raj. That's what you have for that. Yod, Kuf, and Raj. So remember, right? It says the substance of a diligent man is very precious. And why is that? But that's what it goes in, how the righteous is more excellent than their neighbor. Because that righteous man had been seeking out this substance because he made a strict decision. And because he made a strict decision, he highly values that substance. This is why, pause, while y'all thinking on that. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 1.
Say 6 and 1.
Yes, sir. Hebrews 6 and 1. Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of Mashiach, let us go into perfection, not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works and faith towards Elohim. So when you sit back and you look at it, if you value that substance as rare, you're not going to be laying down the foundation of dead works. That's why I mentioned that about investing time and energy and thoughts into people, places, and things that are not conducive to life. Because that's what you need to look at growth as. Growth is life. Because anything that's alive constantly evolves or grows. Anything that is dead, we already know that it stops growing because it has no life in it. So you have to sit back and assess that. Does this individual have life and death in them? Now, of course, you got friends and family who are transgressors. So you have to look at, on the natural side of things, do they have life in them? Or are they continuing to be the same person that they were 10 years ago? Or 5 years ago? Or 3 years ago? And how is that conducive to your life in regards to evolving and growing? If it's not conducive, they have to go. Not go in the fact that I cut you off and I never talk to you again in life, but I have to limit my interaction with you. This is why he says, evil communications corrupt good manners. Be not deceived. Someone who is not seeking to elevate themselves in their life, and all y'all know somebody who you speak to on a consistent basis that have no desire to elevate themselves in their life whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got to be in the word to know that. I ain't got no business being fooled up with you. Because people who are stagnant are the enemy of all success and greatness to somebody who desires that. And they'll be the first ones to say, once you achieve the way you going, that you acting funny. I ain't acting funny, my nigga. You just was happy with your life and comfortable with mediocrity, and you wanted me to be comfortable with it. And I'm not comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you want to be at, sir. By all means, you stay right there. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it on the spiritual side, if a nigga just trying to stay where they at in Yahuwah, then you got to leave that nigga where they at. Because they ain't going to do nothing but pull you straight to hell. That's all that's going to happen. Because they playing around with it, meaning they haven't made a strict decision, so therefore they don't look at his substance as being precious. You know what I'm saying? See, most people have never came in contact with Yahuwah's substance, so they would never understand how precious it is, how valuable it is. You know what I'm saying? How weighty it is. And mentioning weighty takes us back to the weightier matters of the law. Because when you begin to understand judgment, mercy, and faith, is the minute you begin to understand Yahuwah. That's why he said these things you ought to have done. Once you understand judgment, mercy, and faith, there's absolutely nothing that could be restrained from you of understanding Yahuwah, because those three things make up who Yahuwah is. Verse 2, of the doctrine of emergence and of the laying on of hands and of the resurrection of the dead and of eternal judgment, and this we will do if Elohim permit. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened, and have tasted of the gift of Shamahim, and were made partakers of the Ruach HaKadosh, and have tasted the good word of Elohim and the powers of the world to come. If they should fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucified to themselves the Son of Elohim afresh and put him to an open shame. Now, what did he just state right there? He just stated that anybody who tasted of the word would understand how rare it is, how precious it is, how valuable it is. It wouldn't dare go back to committing sin. Wouldn't dare go back to having to be converted again. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. Abigail, calm down. So what y'all got for that? Yah, Kuth, and Raj. Anybody else? You got something for that? Anybody else got something for that? So when you look at that, and that's the same thing, it's the final work of Elohim. What is the last work of Elohim? For the death, burial, and resurrection of Yahushua. Let's come over here to Titus chapter 3, I believe, or Titus chapter 3. Because what did Yahushua say his last work was to do? Back up, please. His last work was to do what? Was to die and resurrect. And that's valuable to you because that's where the substance comes from. You get the Ruach from his resurrection. Make us Titus chapter 3. Titus 3 and 3. He said, for we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, and hating one another. But after the kindness and love of Elohim, our Savior towards man appeared, not by the works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy he has saved us, by the washing, regeneration, and the renewing of the Ruach HaKodesh, which he shed on us abundantly through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior, that being justified by his grace, we should be made heirs according to the hope of eternal life. This is a faithful saying, and these things I will that you affirm constantly, that they which believe in Elohim might be careful to maintain good works. These things are good and profitable unto men. So when you see that he's regenerated you and washed you by the Ruach, this is your substance, and you find that very valuable. That's why he said the kingdom of heaven is like somebody who took a pearl and buried it in the ground. This is valuable. This is precious. I have to protect it. And you're able to get it because you made a strict decision, and mainly because you sought Yahuwah more than your neighbor. And that's why you look at it in the way of righteousness. Speed is off. So we about done anyway. So when you take all those things into account, and also we say that in the way of righteousness, in the path of righteousness, there's no death involved. If you walk in Yahushua, how can you die? He said, "Here that live and believe in me will never taste death." So you need to make a strict decision. Once you make that strict decision, you'll be able to see how that substance is very precious. But for now, we'll say hallelujah for Yahushua, the word. We'll stop right here. Bless everybody at the house. You in the name of the only begotten Son of living Elohim Yahushua. I appreciate everybody's time. Wait and consider. Make a strict decision and stand firm on the word so that you can get every bit of substance that he had. He told you that it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. It's his desire. So again, I bless y'all at the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahuwah willing. We'll pick it up again on Wednesday and go from there. Go sit down. Go sit down. Go sit down.